going to attempt to make this video as not fear-mongering as possible, but if you are afraid, sit with that feeling and try to find the root of it. Why are you afraid? Once you figure that out, translate that fear into action. Elon Musk implanted his first Neuralink chip into a human. The study reveals we can no longer tell the difference between AI-generated faces and real human faces. The quality of AI-generated videos will continue to increase exponentially. All this on top of the fact that surveillance has increased with each technological advancement. Apps like this are also a way of monitoring the public. Think of these apps as essentially a panopticon, except the difference is that we are not aware of when we are being surveilled or how we are being surveilled, so there is almost no measure we can take to protect ourselves from that surveillance. The dangers that come with the advancement of technology is almost never the technology itself, but rather the way that the technology will be used by capitalists and the state. I could construct a whole narrative about how things are going to go, how it's going to play out, but I don't feel like I have to. I think the writing's on the wall. Instead of coming on this app to lament about the advancement of technology, which is something that we will not change, let's focus on the ways that it's being used and will be used against us.
So AI is coming, AI is causing layoffs, it's causing headcount reduction. Now, in many cases, it's not necessarily going to be AI is going to come and do your job specifically. It's going to do parts of your job. It's going to streamline and operationalize it. And so a really good example of this was the replacement of telephone operators. It wasn't that we needed a robot to come and do the exact job of a telephone operator. It was actually a bunch of technologies that just subverted even the need for a telephone operator. And so what we're seeing out there in the job space is that the need for your job just goes away and you get the legs cut out from underneath you because all the functions of your job are either completely supplanted by new platforms or new services that the company can sign up for. So that's really what's happening, and that's what's coming down the pipeline, and the numbers are starting to back it up. There have been 42,000 tech layoffs so far in America in 2024, and it's only just March 1st at the date of recording.
And it all starts. Can you imagine going to school for 4 years only to get replaced by AI?
Oh, hi, LG.
Hello. I'm Q9, your LG Smart Home AI agent. How can I assist you today?
Can you please tell me the weather today?
I'm going to brief information of Las Vegas. The weather is sunny. The temperature is 59 degrees Fahrenheit. And the humidity is 20%. How can I assist you today?
Dope is balancing itself. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Look like the Sphere in Las Vegas, don't it? The mini version.
Feeling that you get when someone's staring at you. Would you believe me if I told you that science says that that's never happening? No one is ever staring at you. In fact, science says that that entire experience is nothing more than just a self-fulfilling prophecy. We've all experienced this, right? Like, we'll be in a public place where there's a good amount of people and you just get that feeling that someone is staring at you from a very specific direction. And when you turn around to look in that direction, you make that weird, awkward eye contact with someone, which confirms that they were in fact the person looking at you. Okay, well, for more than over 100 years, multiple scientists have ran experiments to try to prove this phenomenon to be true, and none of them have ever been able to. In fact, they have concluded that we make it happen. Apparently, humans have evolved to have something called gaze perception sensitivity. When we're in a crowd, we become very concerned with whether or not people are looking at us. We have evolved to know that if we're ever in a public place and everyone just starts staring at us, like, that's probably not a good thing. And it is because of this gaze perception sensitivity that we become hyper aware of other people's head movements and body movements when we're in a public setting. If someone turns their head in our direction, we have evolved to look at them to make sure that they're not looking at us. And this is why scientists have concluded that when you get that feeling like someone is staring at you and you turn around to investigate and to see who it is the fact that you turned around that causes that person to look at you, making it one big self-fulfilling prophecy.
I'm calling Cat because it's been countless of times I was in a room full of people and I can feel the stare piercing on the back of my head. As soon as I turn around, they turn their eyes like they wasn't looking.
I'm sorry, NASA just found what? Yeah, what the actual hell is going on here? So there's been a video circling around, especially on Facebook, after an incident that happened at Minnesota Airport in the US yesterday. People online, of course, are going crazy talking about this, coming up with all kinds of explanations to what this could be. Let me show you the video right now. This clip was on a security cam at the airport, which shows something flying extremely fast past the security camera. And if you look very closely, this was at a gas station nearby as well. Now, trusted news sources, NASA, have come out and said that this is, a meteor. Now, a lot of you would say NASA have said that, so you know what, I'm going to believe it. And yeah, fair enough. But there's also been a lot of other stuff going on in the news, especially in the US recently. Canada publishing documents about UFOs, many more strange sightings all across the world in the last year, which has just been nuts. As I'm sure you know, there's been some crazy stuff happening that I've made videos on in outer space and that. I'm not going to touch on it now because yeah. But what people are saying online is that this meteor was going way too fast and traveling in a very unusual way for it to be a meteor, leading many people to believe it is something else. But hit that follow button, I'll keep you updated, and let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this.
I just seen a giant serpent in the sky. Roll the clip. Now, I don't know if this is AI generated or this is real, but this is definitely a mystery that has to be solved. And considering the times that we're in, this could definitely be a real life possibility. A flying serpent in the sky, a flying snake, which would be considered a dragon. And it also could be some kind of fourth dimensional creature. But it is snake just get bigger, boy. This is not the first serpent that I've seen in the sky. That's the crazy part. Look at the tongue. This is not the first serpent I've seen in the sky. I'ma keep telling y'all, look up, because there's some strange things that's going on in these clouds, bro. And I got a question. If this is real and this is not CGI, what does this mean? I guess we'll see in the days to come. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video of this giant serpent in the sky in the comments. Like and follow for more.
Alien invasion in New York City. We can report that. The mysterious blue illumination scared many people while lighting up social media.
It's not supposed to look like that in the night sky.
The New York City skyline was mysteriously illuminated last night.
What is flashing?
It's the sky.
Looks like the end of the world or something.
With a glowing shade of blue.
What is that? Holy.
The sky was like such an eerie blue and everything. It was crazy.
Sending many people into a confused panic.
What the?
That's what my husband. We have been attacked. This is our terrorist attack.
What's going on in NYC right now?
Turning others to social media for answers.
Like the alien attack.
It looked like a UFO coming from the sky. It was scary.
It could be the Ghostbusters thing.
This weird image is from Arizona. Now look, I've never seen anything like this in my life before, and there's a few more pictures of this event. I have no idea what that even is. Let me show you a better view of that same situation. Look at this. There's like 3 rings of light, and the middle one appears to have some kind of beam going through it. I've never seen something like this before. I mean, seriously, ever in my life have I seen something like this before? Now there's another image that's a little more zoomed in, but I gotta say something. There's a lot of strange stuff going on in our world lately, and it's not all lens flares and CGI. It's just my opinion, but it seems like something is happening and something may have changed. So when I see something like this, I start to wonder, where did I go? Did I leave my Earth and join Bizarro Earth? Cause my Earth didn't have weird stuff like this popping up in the sky. Let me know if you know what this is or if you've ever just seen anything like it. Okay, shabadoo booskies, shabadoo.
These skies are getting creepier and creepier every day, whether man-made or alien. There's something definitely going on. At this point, everybody just waiting to see these things up close and personal.
Y'all, we got an HD panorama from Mars. Mars. Look at this. In the same exact day, guess what Elon Musk said? He said that they are now able to download at 17 megabytes per second from his Starlink satellites. 17 megabytes. Let's think about this for just 1 minute. Google, according to you, how far is Mars away? 140 million miles away. Google, according to you, how high up are Elon Musk's Starlink satellites? 340 miles. And it can only achieve 17 megabytes per second. Where'd that come from? Now you may think 17 megabytes per second. Pretty awesome, pretty good, right? 140 million miles away. Now go ahead and tell me the technology we have that can transfer data 140 million miles away. And I want to remind you again, from 300 miles, we get 17 megabytes per second. To download HD video, it takes between 8, but for optimal viewing, 25 megabytes per second. And if you don't know about color grading, let me go ahead and tell you. When you put a video into some kind of video processor, you can actually change every color of every grain of soil all at the same exact time. Look how the sky, look at how it goes around the hills, right? You see that almost a line, that really sharp line. Isn't that weird? And here's the illustration from us from NASA of what Mars looks like. And here is Devon Island on the Earth with them in spacesuits. This right here much better fits what Elon's doing.
Crazy things caught on camera. This woman was in San Juan trying to enjoy her vacation, having a little snorkeling time, but she got out of the water and felt some extreme pain inside of her ear. So she went to see someone. They looked in there and they could see something was lodged inside of this woman's ear. And this makes me squeamish, so I gotta like duck down. But these giant forceps things are reaching inside of her ear, and they are grabbing a hold of what looks like legs of some animal creature inside of this lady's ear, and they're gonna start pulling this out leg by leg, and all of a sudden you're gonna see this thing just shoot out of the ear of this lady. But she is handling this like a trooper. This is one of my nightmares. This is literal nightmare fuel. Oh, and it comes out. Oh my gosh, it's a crab. Look at this. It's literally an ocean sea crab that was inside of this woman's ear.
I would have died right there.
Okay, you guys, very important video here. This is Dr. John Campbell. He works in England as a doctor. So what's going on in England is people are, being unalived at natural causes. But what England is doing is they are redacting the information. They are messing with the numbers, making it seem like less and less people are being unalived. But why would this be, you guys? Check this video out.
Well, welcome to today's talk, Friday the 23rd of February. Now, the Office for National Statistics in my country has changed the way the excess deaths are recorded. So we know there's been problems with excess deaths for some time in the United Kingdom, 2020, 2021, 2022, and into 2023. Large numbers of excess deaths. So they're now recalculating the way that's done, and it looks in 2023 like the number of people dying are much less. Obviously, the number of people dying in the country is the same, but it now looks less. And I suspect the politicians or the government are going to be really pleased with this. Now, you will be pleased to see that there is complete transparency in how this is worked out. So this is from the Office for National Statistics site, telling us how this is all worked out. So as you'll see, it's all fairly obvious and self-explanatory. So I hope you're reassured by the transparency there. To be fair, I do plan to talk to Professor Fenton about this and see what the heck is going on. But if we look at some real examples from this, and then we'll be looking at some diseases where people are still dying in excess numbers in a minute. But if we just look at this, so what we see here is the current method. So this is September 2023, week 21. Current method, 1,066 people died. New method, that goes down to 662. For week 24, it would have registered as 1,172. That goes down to 645. For week 32, it goes down from 427, more than usual dying, to 89, less than usual dying.
See that negative?
It's interesting that this new method is showing much lower numbers of deaths for 2023. Albeit the same number of people died, it now doesn't look like the same number of people died.
Right? This is in negative as well. Y'all see that? Negative 144.
What we see, actually quite interesting, these are the old and new methods. So 2020, current method would have given 84,000 excess deaths. New method 76,000, so that's a bit less. 2021, similar. 2022, the old method would have given 38,000. The new method would have given slightly more, 43. But into 2023, which of course the one that's politically sensitive now, that's gone down from. Well, it's about a third of what it would have been, isn't it? So excess deaths are only a third of what they would be.
Now, my question is, what is the difference between the old method and the current method that they have here right now? Like, because they're not even stating what was the old method of people being alive in this new method. And we know there's a lot going on in the world right now, you guys. So, what is going on in England? Y'all got some explaining to do, England. But again, this video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during this interesting time. But yeah, please let us know what's going on. Like, comment, and share this video for more videos like this. Thank you for tuning to my frequency. Let's get this shift, y'all. Peace.
My people in the UK, have y'all heard of this? What'll be the reason why they want to curve the death numbers? What's these so-called methods they using? From my understanding, if one person died, that equals one person dead. Like, what is the equation about?
Cat Williams, Joe Rogan, Wendy Williams, Puff Daddy, these people are all puppets. What I mean by puppets is this. There's someone writing scripts behind the scenes that's telling these people what to say, what to do, what to wear, how to act before the camera cuts on. So once the camera cuts on, we think these people are superheroes, not realizing they sold their soul. Let me tell you how deep this matrix really go. A lot of us are black sheeps of the family, meaning we sign spiritual contracts to fix generational curses, and some of us actually came here to help and heal other people. You might be a black sheep. I might be a black sheep, and you will notice once you understand how many people actually gravitate towards your energy. What's really deep about the Matrix and Hollywood is this. Most of these celebrities, Cat Williams, Joe Rogan, most of these celebrities was actually black sheeps of the family. They signed spiritual contracts to heal their generational bloodline. But what Hollywood did is this. Hollywood made them forget about their spiritual contract and made them sign physical contracts. So once you sign a blood contract or a physical contract, now your purpose is to deceive the people. When the universe wanted you to heal the people, The Matrix wants you to destroy the people. So that's what we are dealing with every second. We are dealing with these fake people that broke their spiritual contracts, that wanted to go into Hollywood. So every time these people speak a little bit of truth, we say they came and save us. They came and save us. No. Their purpose was to save their family, but what they did is they turned their back on their true spiritual purpose and signed a physical contract. We hear about these contracts all the time, and so many people say, well, if I sign the spiritual contract, how come I don't remember? You don't remember your spiritual contract because you are being entertained or deceived by people that broke their contract. So if people in Hollywood broke their spiritual contract, now they live in some kind of regret. Their purpose is to make you break your contract because they broke their contract. Once you understand the laws of the universe and what's really going on, you will practice discipline, and practice your spiritual roots, because we are all being deceived. You are not supposed to break your spiritual contract. So anytime you watch these celebrities and focus on these celebrities, you are kind of breaking your spiritual contract, because every time your heart beat, it's a second being taken away from your life. So if you watch this shit, these celebrities, this gossip, the more you watch this shit, you are giving your energy to it. And every time you give your energy towards something, you are wasting your heartbeat. Therefore, you are giving up on your spiritual contract.
Is hydrogen the future of your car? Here's how they work. Hydrogen fuel cells run on hydrogen and oxygen, and the exhaust is water vapor. You have 3 sections, an anode, a cathode, and an electrolyte. You're probably thinking of this. You're not wrong. Electrolytes are things like salt, calcium, potassium, and they maintain electrical currents through the fluids of your body, keeping cells balanced. They have a similar job in a fuel cell by smoothly lubricating the electricity from one side to the other. Hydrogen flows into the anode, where a catalyst, which is a broad term, but a thing that speeds up reactions like enzymes in your body, or platinum. That catalyst splits hydrogen apart, with protons going through the electrolyte to the cathode, while the electrons, so electricity, goes through a circuit and powers like a motor. The electron is then directed to the cathode, where it reunites with the protons. Oxygen from the outside air comes in, and all that combines to make the exhaust water vapor. This is also actually how we're probably going to make oxygen on Mars. MIT's MOXIE, which is hidden somewhere in here, works like a fuel cell but in reverse. But there are challenges. Costs for the cars themselves, like that platinum, are high. An entire infrastructure would need to be in place so people could fill up. Hydrogen has a tendency to leak, so after days of just sitting there, the tank could be empty. It's highly flammable, and getting hydrogen usually means extracting it from fossil fuels, because it's not just floating around. And that defeats the entire purpose. I do foresee hydrogen cars being more common on the road, but I don't think they'll be the primary method.
It sounds a little bit more healthier for the atmosphere than 100% fossil fuels. But what would make that cool if you can drink the water that's coming out?
Is the universe a hologram? Probably not, but it doesn't mean we can't learn anything from the idea. On the first day of 1998, Juan Maldacena published a landmark paper conjecturing that a certain kind of quantum field theory is dual to a certain kind of quantum gravity. Maybe it doesn't sound like it, but this was a huge deal. See, our best theory of gravity, which is general relativity as provided by Einstein, doesn't play particularly well with quantum mechanics. But general relativity and quantum mechanics seem to both make spectacularly accurate predictions. Consequently, finding a way to marry these two theories is perhaps the most important problem in fundamental physics, and it has been for 70 years. String theory was one proposed solution to this problem, but as a theory of physics, it's notoriously difficult to handle. On the other hand, quantum field theory, while quite complicated, is well understood. Naively, these two theories are completely different, but Maldacena showed that that's not quite right. Maldacena started with a particular system in type 2b string theory, a stack of 4-dimensional branes. The details of this don't really matter much for this video. Such a system is enormously complicated, but if you only consider the low-energy physics, it simplifies significantly. So that's what he did. Then, he took 2 more limits. One limit where the number of branes times the strength of the string coupling is very big, and one limit where the same is very small. What he observed is that when this product is large, the low-energy theory describes a purely gravitational string theory in a particular type of spacetime, called anti-de Sitter space, and it has a compactified 5-dimensional sphere attached. On the other hand, when the product is small, the low-energy theory describes a quantum field theory closely related to the theory of the strong nuclear force, which is called n=4 supersymmetric Yang-Mills theory living in 4 dimensions. But because the Yang-Mills theory is perfectly well defined for any value of this product, Maldacena conjectured that the two descriptions must in fact be identical. And it's this anti-de Sitter space that's the ADS in the famous ADS-CFT correspondence, and the Yang-Mills theory is a type of conformal field theory, which is the CFT. And the upshot of all of this is that if the duality is true, we can use our understanding of the CFT to understand the quantum gravity string theory, even in the non-perturbative regime, and that's where traditional methods fail. And in fact, it's precisely this regime where strong quantum gravity effects are expected to play a role, and where we least understand gravity. So it's a big deal. By the way, we can also use it to study strongly coupled quantum field theories using the weakly coupled gravitational theory, which is also fairly well understood. Now, this correspondence is called holographic because, in some sense, the quantum field theory can be described as living on the boundary of the space-time of the gravitating theory. In this context, a holographic relationship is that the surface of a system contains the same information as the volume of the system. Some people take this idea quite literally, suggesting that gravity isn't real and it's just a manifestation of a non-gravitating quantum field theory, and that our four space-time dimensions are illusory, and that we really exist in 3 dimensions of space-time. However, the universe we live in does not look at all like anti-de Sitter space, nor is our universe 5-dimensional. So at the very least, this correspondence does not directly inform our physical reality, but it does provide an ample playground to explore string theory, and perhaps the lessons we learn from this toy model can be used to better understand the world around us.
I don't know. What if the thing projecting a hologram was a 5D projector, but projecting a 3D image? But we don't know a whole lot about life in general, so all he was saying, I feel like, is just assumption until something else come along. And they're like, oh, out with that old rule, in with the new.
Hey family, Port City coming right back at y'all with this African history, culture, and greatness. And if you ain't about that life, y'all can keep scrolling. Today we're going to talk about the Songhai Empire. And family, this was the last of the great West African empires. It occupied approximately the same territory as the Mali Empire, but this was much larger. At its height in the 16th century, it was as large as all of Europe combined. It was in 1464 that Sunni Ali became the 18th ruler of the Songhai Empire. He established the Songhai state as the third great West African empire in the region. In 1492, he was lost in a military campaign and was mummified after his death. Now, of course, this followed very ancient African traditions. His son was a follower of these same ancient African religions as well. Now, Sunni Ali's son rejected all attempts to be converted to Islam by the Muslims that was in the empire. Because of this, that brought a leader by the name of Askia Muhammad to take over the Songhai Empire and inherit all of what Sunni Ali had at that time. We can't mention West Africa without mentioning Timbuktu. Now, the city of Timbuktu had universities and at least 25,000 students, y'all. Now, I got a question for you guys. What was the highest trading product in ancient West Africa? I'll wait. Okay, time's up. Books, y'all. Books. Books. That's right, books. Books made more money than gold, leather, salt. It was the highest sold product in West Africa. Imagine that. Now at this time, Songhai only had one threat. This threat came from Morocco in North Africa. In 1556, the Moroccans killed the Songhai governor in attempts to try to take control over the salt and the gold mines. They also would send spies down there just to try to figure out what was going on and to try to strategize a plan against them. At the same time, these Moroccans built an alliance with Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth was more than happy to supply men and weapons. See, the lure of Songhai's wealth attracted the European. In 1590, with help from the Queen, the Moroccans invaded Songhai. The Songhai War Council quickly assembled 18,000 cavalrymen and about 9,700 soldiers. But even though the Moroccans were vastly outnumbered, they still had the advantage. See, with the Queen supplying them with the large stocks of ammunition, guns, weapons, and all types of cannons, this gave them an enormous upper hand. Songhai had none of these advanced weapons at the time. And as the war commenced, vast numbers were brutally slain. Cities then were burnt to the ground, and then famine and hunger set in. Here's one little known fact. The early slaves that came to America, some of these guys were from the Songhai Empire. They were war captives originally. Now, if you love this content, give me a like, follow, and share.
Back in the day, Africa was the place to go for knowledge. So I can see why it attracted a lot of different countries. It's sad that even today, things are solved by conflict and fighting.
Do yourself a favor. Do not skip this video. Actually watch this video and share it with someone you love, care, and respect. It's 2024, and it's time to wake up, people. Run that video, comment below, and this is for educational purposes only. Run it.
They don't got abortion clinics at the border. They're telling us as American women, specifically black American women, we need to abort our children. But if you coming across the border with your baby, oh, come to the land of milk and honey, the great land of opportunity. We'll take care of you. Joe Biden even said, I'll give illegal immigrants coming across the border $400,000 a piece. Can you imagine? If they were to go to that black single mother living in the hood, not even $400,000, offer $4,000. Because I know some black women that can make something jump with $4,000. Offer her $40,000. You know why they'll never give us that? Because they know that we'll never need them again. Welfare reminds me of an old man I used to date. I was in a relationship with him for 11 years. He would never marry me, right? But whenever my bills were due, I would tell him he would give me just enough. He had a whole lot of money, but he would give me just enough. Rent due, $1,200. He'd give me $1,200, not 1 cent over, because he knew that every month the rent was due, that I would have to come back to him. He wouldn't give me $100,000 and say, here, baby, bump that, go buy you a house and start you a business, because then he felt like I wouldn't need him. The government system is the same way when it comes to black Americans. They'll never give us enough to get over and get up. It's only enough to make sure we continue to come back every 30 days so that we can remain slaves to their system.
That's true. I know some people on welfare and they scared to go get a job because their food stamps get cut. Make it make sense. They don't want people to be independent because there's no money in that.
This fascinating symbol contains many layers of code I'm about to show you. Let's examine some mysterious symbols and let them speak for themselves and see what we find out. The mind-blowing code between hexagons, hexagrams, the Seal of Solomon, the Star of David, Metatron's cube, sacred geometry, Saturn, hidden symbol codes, and number 6 numerology. Right into the first layer of the hexagon, which is the core of the hexagram and the sacred structure of the bees, whose tissue repairing healing frequency I'm briefly going to turn on for a minute. The average is right below 285 Hz on the solfeggio. Spas incorporate beehives for their beneficial and calming properties, so tap into that beekeeping, John the Baptist, live longer honey propolis frequency power as I show you this hexagon code. We're going deep. A lot of this you won't find in any book. Like the 6 sides you see here of the hexagon, relating to 6 being the number of man who was created on the 6th day, who was also given 120 years, like you see the 120 degree angles here. There's a cryptic code hidden within the 120, which I've covered on my page before. 6 being the number of man, also tying into the Vitruvian man and the Seal of Solomon, which we'll be coming back to later. We're going to move on from bees into Saturn for a second. THC molecule segue. Check out the hexagonal structure, which we also see in this electric dipole effect. It's basically the distribution of energy. The shape is related to the creation of a macroscopic dipole, which is the precursor to electricity. Keep that in mind as we check out the hexagon of Saturn, which is also the 6th planet, / wandering star, and in ancient times the 2nd sun. This hexagon on Saturn's north pole is a 6-sided hurricane that could allegedly fit 4 Earths inside of it. And really it ties into the Black Cube conspiracy, which I have a video on my page about. But basically you see this cube appear all over the world and in many religions. Quick interesting rabbit hole that ties in with the Black Cube. When you see the words Kaaba and Allah, the Kaaba is the Black Cube in Mecca, that Muslim circle. And then you hear the word Kabbalah, which also has cube and occultism tie-ins. Kind of sounds like the same origin of syllables. Also, those syllables Ka and Ba mean spirit personality, which you also see in the Merkaba, which is what God rides around in, or the tetrahedron Merkaba, which we're going to be coming back to. CERN is building a lot of its collider tech with hexagon structures. Remember the electric dipole. Also, this hexagonal shape ties in with the hexagon on Saturn. Saturn also tying in with Nimrod, CERN tying in with Nimrod, things we've discussed and we'll be going into deeper. Also, the prefix for hexagon is hex, which is a curse. Hex also tying in with curses, the number 6, and man. Let's check out this other weird hexagon in the middle of the Australian desert. Some other top secret possible witchcraft military installations. This is what we know about this place. It's a top secret US joint military base and it has to do with space surveillance. That's one way of gently wording to the public that it's a giant witchcraft astrological sigil to... This is all for entertainment, by the way. This massive weaponized ritual base, is known for working with ELF waves, weapons programs that affect air and deep sea. And the design on this thing just looks crazy, just like the connections you're about to see with the number 6. Number 6 numerology and mystical symbols, and how it all ties in with the hexagon I showed you and the hexagram we're about to jump into, aka Star of David, Seal of Solomon. As we said, 6 being the number of man created on the 6th day, 6 mathematically is considered the perfect number because 1, 2, and 3, whether you add them up or multiply them, all equal 6. Also the 6 days of creation, and the 7th there was rest. This is where things are really going to get interesting. 666 being the mark of the beast, check out these Greek symbols, the original text for 666. It looks exactly like the Islamic Bismillah symbols. Also, sixes in many cultures look just like that squiggly symbol you're seeing, especially the ones in Sanskrit. Check out this magical McDonald's M symbol from an old book of magic. Also, the Scorpio-Virgo connection with their symbols and story thread with the Mazzaroth, which I've covered. The Latin and Greek prefix are hex and sex, both having to do with occult magical rituals as well. Here are some logos/sigils displaying the 666. You see it in CERN and Disney here. You also see it in the Google Chromecast. Also, the Google Play is the sigil of Lucifer, which you see here. And the Google Home logo is the pentagon, which is the core of the pentagram. What you got going on there, Google? The sigil of Lucifer, by the way, is also the same as the sigil of Enki, the mischievous Sumerian god of wisdom said to live under the sea. This sigil and entities are also connected to Saturn, undeniably, which you'll see. Also, interesting addresses like 666 UN Plaza. Also, anytime you see 3 hexagons, and you see this angle of lines, it's the 666, just like the flux capacitor. It's the angle of 3 hexagons. Also, the atom with 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons in the carbon-12 atom, which is the basis for most life forms according to the scientific model. Also, check out how the official atom logo and shape is the hexagram, which we're transitioning from showing you how the hexagon now becomes the hexagrams/Seal of Solomon, Star of David. Also, the true mystery really begins to unravel after setting this foundation. This is running long, but we're also going to be hitting Metatron's cube, sacred geometry, shape power, symbol codes, and so much more. This is all going somewhere, and you're not going to need to pay for it. And remember, be wise as a serpent, but innocent as a dove. See you real soon with the mind-blowing revelation about the Star of David. We're going to keep this journey going.
If you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. And anyway, since I took office, FEMA's provided Texas alone.
Today, as I was reading scripture, I came across something that blew my mind. The Bible tells us where Satan's throne is. In Revelations 2 and 13, it says, I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. So where was Antipas slain? When you look it up, it takes us here. And when you Google where Antipas was martyred, it brings you to Geneva, Switzerland. It says the traditional account goes on to say Antipas was martyred during the reign of Nero by burning in a brazen bull-shaped altar at the Apollyon Temple in Geneva, Switzerland. And that, of course, got me to wondering, what exactly is in Geneva? Well, let's take a look. The CERN Hadron Collider, for one, where they're trying to discover and replicate the Big Bang. And of course, if I was the devil and wanted control over the world, I would be sure to bring all the world organizations to where I was, such as the United Nations. I might bring along the World Health Organization as well. And I would definitely want the World Trade Organization there. And I would definitely have Gavi there, Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunizations. And you can't finance an empire without having the World Economic Forum in Geneva, Switzerland. And of course, I would have all the other organizations there. 33 international organizations. 33. Isn't there significance to that number? But I'll be honest with you, when I saw this today, it literally blew my mind. I don't even have words. But if you have eyes to see, the information is out there. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content.